Hello students, welcome back to the video series of Python programming. I am your instructor Shweta Yagnik and today we are going to see testing and debugging in Python. So the topics that we are going to cover today are first, what is testing and why it is required in a software development. Then we will see the difference between white box testing and black box testing. Then we are going to see the testing types. Lastly, we will see debugging, how to do debugging in case of Python program. So without wasting much time, let's begin. So the software testing is a process of executing the program or application in order to identify the bug. Okay, that bugs which is causing to exhibit unexpected behavior. So actually the bug is what? It's nothing but error flow or a fault in a program. So debugging is a process to reveal those bugs and try to fix those errors. So the key to the debugging is to find the test suites. Now what is test suites are the collection of all the inputs that are possible from the user side. So that is having the likelihood of revealing the bugs lying in your program. Now we'll see small function where we are trying to fix the test suites. That means all possible values of the input. So here we are having one small definition of the function which is bigger, which is returning us true or false based on x being bigger than y. If it is x is greater, then it will return true, otherwise false. So these are all the possibles of the input that you can think about. So the first thing is that both are positive, then both negative. Then you can think about x being positive and y negative and reverse. Then we'll take both zeros. Okay, then we'll take x 0 and y not 0 and the reverse case. So these are all the possible test cases, test suites that will help you to identify the bugs that can be lying in your function definition. Now we'll understand the difference between black box testing and white box testing. So as per the definition, the black box testing in which the tester will not have underlying design or implementation knowledge. So the structure, design, implementation of the program is not known to the person who is actually testing. And in case of white box or a glass box testing, all the internal design and the coding will be known to the tester. So that is the basic difference. Okay, then the level of applicability, that means the black box testing is applicable at the level of system testing and acceptance testing. We are shortly going to see what is exactly acceptance testing and system testing means, but here you need to just understand at which stage of your system development this testing is applicable. Now in case of white box testing, it is like where you are doing unit testing, when you are executing your and testing your small units as far as the development gets in progress, you are doing the white box testing, because responsibility of white box testing is lying on the developer, because he is the only person who is aware about all the logic and all the design implementation structure. While in case of black box testing, the person is unaware about what is coding of the specific application. Some more difference between black box and white box testing is where programming knowledge is not the requirement in case of black box testing, and in case of glass box testing it is a must. Implementation knowledge even not at all required in case of black box, while it is a mandatory thing in case of white box, because programmer is doing mostly white box testing. He must be aware about the implementation details. Now the basis for the test is the black box testing depends on the specification. Okay, while in case of the white box testing, it is about the detail, about the coding, how the coding is done. The aim of the black box testing is what is the functionality being exhibited by the system, while in case of the white box testing, how the system is actually performing that behavior. So here the concept is concentrating on what functionality is being exhibited, while in case of white box testing, how that particular thing is achieved. Now we'll see different levels of testing. The first is a unit testing. As the name suggests, the individual unit or component as it is developed, and then it will be tested whether it is exhibiting proper behavior or not. Then we are going to see integration testing. When two modules or two units are integrated with each other, then after that integration, whether they are exhibiting the same behavior as per expectation or not, that is what is checked. Then comes the system testing. When the whole system is integrated, after that whether it is in compliance with the specification requirement or not, that is what being tested in the system testing. Next is acceptance testing. That means whether the system, the software or the application that we have created, whether it is acceptable by the user or not, whether it is meeting the requirement or not, that is what being checked. The next level of testing is regression testing. So once the software is tested and deployed, and then after it is required to do some modification. Okay, so after those modification, if it is exhibiting the same behavior as per expectation or not, that is what is done in regression testing. And the last type of testing that we are going to see is software verification and validation, which is also called as software quality control. So here verification is a process of checking that software meets the specifications or not, while in case of validation, whether the software meets the user requirements or not. So now we'll see in detail how different tests are dependent on each other and when they are lying. So first of all, the lowest level is the unit test, okay, and which purely is the white box testing, because the implementer or the coder needs to perform the unit testing as soon as the code is developed. So he must be aware about all the logic and the design of the unit which he has developed. Next level is integration testing, where multiple units are integrated, and then whether they are combinedly giving the correct performance or not will be checked in integration testing. So integration testing can be a combination of white box or a black box testing. Then comes the system testing. After the whole components are integrated, as a whole system is behaving in proper way or not, that will be being checked. Then acceptance testing, whether the software is in acceptable condition by the ultimate client or not, that will be checked. So as you are in unit test, you can expect more number of tests because you are at the bottom level. But as soon as you are going up in case of development, the fewer tests are required. But in case of cost, in terms of time or being money involved, it will go higher as soon as you reach from unit test to acceptance test. So cost will be increased. So I hope you are clear with all levels of testing and how they are impacting each other. Now we will see debugging process. So here we'll take one small example in order to understand what is debugging and how to do that. So debugging by definition is what? Spotting and fixing bug in a piece of software so that it can exhibit the behavior as expected. So here we are taking one small example which will give true or false based on whether the given numbers are palindrome or not, or whether the given string is palindrome or not. So I'm right now defining is palindrome. This is my function which will take the list, that is x right now I'm telling, and then I am writing temporary variable equal to x. I am doing reverse. I'm using this inbuilt method of the list in order to reverse the thing, and if temp equal to x, that means after reversing, if both lists are matching, that is what my intention is, then I'll be returning true. Okay, so this function will return boolean, either true or false. Else return, I should be writing over here return, then over here false. Now I'm going to define another function in order to accept the user inputs. So function in which I am giving n, which is the length of the string that I am supposed to check whether it is a palindrome or not. So for I in range n, so I'll be generating all the sets from 0 to n minus 1 so that I can iterate over all the numbers. Then I'll be checking. So in this case what I am doing is I'll be taking one list, okay, and I'm taking empty list. Then I'm asking user to write the element, that is element is equal to input. I'm going to ask to user enter element, and then I'll be appending this newly added element to my list, l dot append an element. Okay, now I want to check whether this whole string which is given by user, okay, which I have stored into list, whether it is a palindrome or not. So I'll be calling my palindrome is palindrome function for the whole list, that is the list of elements. So if is palindrome, okay, this function is going to return either true or false, so I can directly call in this way, and I'll be passing L, that is my whole list, and if it is true then print yes, else I'll be printing no. Okay, this is what my planning is. So how this function is working, okay, and here I'll make just a call, and here I'll be passing func of 2. Okay, that means I am asking user to enter 2 character, and I'll be checking whether it is a palindrome or not. So it is always better to start debugging for the smallest value, for the smallest input, so that you can identify whether the basic functionality is working properly or not. In case if passes this smallest pass, then you can go for the higher version of input length. So we can increase this, but later on, once we are very much sure that for the smaller range it is working properly. So now we are going to execute it. So it is asking me for the element. First I'm writing A, and then I'm writing B. So I know that A and B reverse will be BA, so it is not going to be palindrome. So let us see whether my program is giving what output. Oh, it has given me yes, that means it's a palindrome. There is some problem. So now what to do? Now debugging starts. Okay, so here how we will start debugging is based on putting some output intermediate way. Okay, so here what I am planning is that this is my list. Okay, so I am printing my list over here, and what I'll do over here is I am just printing my temp over here, which is after reversing. So here for the proper understanding I'll be giving information, this is the temp, and here I'll be writing that this is my original list. So here I can write original list, okay, before actually calling this is palindrome. So let us see what it is giving, A and B. So A, enter the element B, I have added. So original list is only B. Why it is just giving B? And even in temp it is showing B. So what our program is doing, it is just checking B, it is reversing B, which is B only, and it is comparing B with B. So obviously it is going to be a palindrome. So there is a problem because we intend to pass 2 parameters, that is A and B, which is not being done. So if you look your code closely, there is a problem that we are initializing our list within a iteration loop itself. That means every time we are trying to enter new element, it is entered into the blank list, which is not the intention. Okay, so here we are removing it from here and initializing it out of the loop. Okay, so now let's again run it and try to see the output. Okay, so original list is AB. and temp is BA. Actually, we have conveyed the proper list and we have done the reverse also, but still it is giving yes. That means there is a match over here, which should not, because our X is AB and our temp is BA. So how can they two be same? So there is one more problem lying over here. So you have found the second bug. Some logical bugs are there, right? One we have already solved. Now we are about to solve the second one. So if you see over here that after reversing, your temp is reversed, and let us see after palindrome, calling of the palindrome, what is your list. Okay, so list after calling palindrome function. Okay, I hope you are understanding that this is before calling the palindrome, this is after calling the palindrome, because something wrong happens over here. We have already seen that temp is actually writing proper, it is converting the given list in reverse, but then something is happening wrong. So that I'm checking the intermediate what my list is after calling to the palindrome function. So let us see A and B. So after list after calling palindrome, it has become BA. That means my original list is getting changed, which should not occur. Here my intention is to keep my original list as it is and convert and compare it with the reverse one. But my original list is getting changed over here, which is the problematic thing. So if I see the code closely, I come to know that here I have made a mistake where I have trapped into aliasing. So here temp and X both are referring to the same memory location, okay, because I have not made the true copy. So in order to make a true copy, I need to use over here copy function, which will make another copy of X, okay, keeping the value same. But if I don't use this copy, temp and X both will point to the same memory location, and that is the reason whatever changes you are making to temp, same changes are reflected to X. That's why X is also getting changed. So instead of directly using assignment operator, I should be using dot copy. Now let us execute the code one more time. B. So now A and B and B and A, and finally it has got us no. That means it is saying that your given string is not a palindrome. Now one more time we'll execute the code for some valid input, okay, because ultimately our aim was to check whether the given string is palindrome or not. So here I am giving A, and second parameter is also A, so that reverse of A and A is same. So it should give me now palindrome. Let us see whether it is giving or not. Oh yes, it has shown us yes, that means it's a palindrome. Now our code is working properly. Now there is no need of writing this intermediate output, and you can just print the clean output, that is requirement of the user. So ultimately your code should be printing yes or no as per the requirement of the user. So I hope you have understood how to do debugging in case of Python program. So this is the small example of unit testing where you are writing your code and testing it. So I hope you have enjoyed today's session. See you soon in next session. Till then, keep learning.